Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway Beat. We're at the opening night celebration for director Trevor Nunn's new production of the classic Stephen Sondheim and Hugh Wheeler musical, A Little Night Music, starring Academy Award winner Catherine Zeta-Jones, who's making her Broadway debut, along with 5-time Tony Award winner Miss Angela Lansbury. Joining them is Alexander Hansen.
You must meet my wife.
If I must, yes I must.
A sea of whims that I submerge in, yet so lovable in repentance. Unfortunately still a virgin, but you can't force a flower.
Don't finish that sentence. She's monstrous.
She's frightened,
unfeeling,
unversed. She'd strike you as unenlightened.
No, I'd strike her first.
My two leading ladies, Angela Lansbury, Catherine Zeta-Jones. I mean, what more can a man ask for, really? You've got a Broadway legend, you've got an Oscar winner. They are, both of them, remarkable women, and obviously wonderful actors. I wish I had more to do on stage with Angela, but nevertheless, I count my lucky stars that I got the chance to be in the same production as her.
Her reticence, her apprehension.
Her crust.
No.
Yes.
No.
Frederick.
You must meet my wife.
Let me get my hat and my knife.
What was that?
I must meet your wife.
Yes.
Yes, I
I love this role because Frederick is smart and I'm not, so he makes me look smart. And he's urbane and he's witty and he's got a bit of grey in his hair, and I think I'd probably like a bit more, so I like those bits of him. I mean, it's a wonderful part. He's got some great lines, he's got some great songs, and he falls in love with a beautiful actress. And in this instance played by Catherine Zeta-Jones, so that's not bad.
Tell me what it was like working on this show.
Well, it was a new kind of production of a wonderfully successful show of the 1970s, and the actual production came from London. Trevor Nunn, the great British director, had mounted this very small, compact, Chekhovian kind of presentation of A Little Night Music in London, and Stephen Sondheim saw it and adored it, and decided that he would love Trevor to do it in New York. So we were the recipients of these great roles, and I got to play Madame Armfeld.
At the villa of the Baron de Signac, where I spent a somewhat infamous year. At the villa of the Baron de Signac, I had ladies in attendance, fire opal pendants, liaisons. What happened to them? Liaisons today. Disgraceful. What's become of them? Some of them hardly pay their shoddy way.
I love this woman. I think she's an outlandish character. She's very funny, which I love playing comedy, and she's certainly somebody you would remember. And I think at my time of life, it's the sort of part that I can take to town, as they say. And so I'm very, very grateful to have that opportunity. How often do you get when you're 84 to play a role like Madame Armfeld, and sing a song like Liaisons? So I could get down on my knees every night and give thanks for that.
What once was a rare champagne is now just an amiable hock. What once was a villa at least is digs. What once was a gown with train is now just a simple little frock. What once was a sumptuous feast is figs. Not even figs. Raisins. Liaisons. Where was I? Oh, yes. At the palace of the Duke of Ferrara, who was prematurely deaf, but a dear. At the palace of the Duke of Ferrara, I acquired some position, plus a tiny Titian.
I mean, the beauty of A Little Night Music is that, and in a lot of musicals, and I'm not the first person to say this, you have to fill in the gaps because the book is not as strong as it should be. But the songs are great, but the book is not so strong. With the beauty of A Little Night Music is that, you really do have a fantastic play, like a Chekhovian play, if you want, with the added genius of Sondheim music. So you can just keep digging and digging, and you always find something wonderful to play with. And it's really elegant, although it's a period piece, but it's so current because I think love generally is just a current thing.
Don't you love us? My fault I feel. I thought that you'd want what I'd want. Sorry, my dear. And where are the clouds? Quick, send in the cloud. Don't bother. There.
Rehearsal process was something that I actually love, and I wish we had the time and to be able to do it for movies. I could rehearse forever. I love rehearsal periods, and but then again, once we'd kind of set down the roots of it, we were desperate for an audience, desperate, and then so we had our previews and we started playing and moving things, changing things up a bit, and but we're pretty much set in our ways now, and that's why we feel like this. Officially, we are open.
And working with Trevor Nunn and Angela Lansbury and Alexander, talk about that.
Well, Angela is just, it's hard to believe that, I'm on stage. My debut is with Angela Lansbury, what a great veteran of both film, television and stage. And Alex is just a doll, a dream, and he plays Frederick with such compassion and so understated, and of course he sings like a nightingale, but he's actually a lot of fun to work with, and it's nice to have a few Brits around,
However, there is one tiny snag.
Snag?
Loy Egerman's married.
That could be considered a snag.
Don't you worry, my darling. I was not raised by your grandmother for nothing.
Well, the main thing to be loved about it is that you're working with a genius of the theatre called Stephen Sondheim, and he's still with us to partake of the work, to advise on the work. You have to pinch yourself that you're in the same room with him because he's legendary. He's one of the great artists of the 20th century, and he's still doing great things in the 21st century. And I also feel his book writer, Hugh Wheeler, was a sensationally brilliant playwright. And this work, A Little Night Music, is so sensationally well constructed and so deft and so beautifully written to the point where it can be Chekhov at some times and it can be comedy of manners at other times. So it's just pure joy to have that kind of material to work on. But then, when you have great names like Angela Lansbury and Catherine Zeta-Jones, and you discover they respond to it, they respond to every detail of it, and they want to be members of a company, they don't want to be great stars aloof from the company, they want to be part of it all, then the enjoyment gets greater and greater as each day goes by.
Bring champagne and caviar. We're off on a wing, what a beautiful day. We cannot drink coffee. Bring champagne, just turning the yachts. The wagons are rings, we're tying our knots. With riotous laughter, we quietly suffer the season in town, which is reasoning up on a weekend in the country. Our music and a lively draw. A weekend in the country, as we're losing our joy. A weekend in the country, so inactive, and we're asked to lie down. A weekend